of jeans for when you were the biggest banning, and then when you're 50 pounds less, you'll put it on and like two people could fit it or something like that?
No, I should probably save some pants though.
Yeah.
Well, you always see like women trying to fit back in their wedding dresses or their skinny jeans, or yeah, I definitely have a few of those. So I'll get back to you next year, Banning, and let you know when I do fit into them.
I've got my old wrestling singlet. Maybe that's a good goal to try and fit into that.
I have we're recorded, but I think somewhere I have my old Speedos from when I ran track and grew up in, no. Okay, never mind. Delete that from the recording.
Oh, it's funny. Any other big wins this week? No. My big win is kind of knowing how these processes with space for wellness. There's been a lot of back and forth, so I'm feeling like I finally have the reins on it, and I appreciate Andrew helping with the Facebook post and you guys all being so patient with us while we were figuring out that process. But we should be pretty regular moving forward. And then I just wanted to suggest to everyone, if you don't like going into the space, let's say you like it to be on your calendar, the link officially now will never change. So you could just make a calendar event in your own calendar, place for wellness, and then that way you could just go to your Google Calendar. I've had a couple people ask how we can do that. I am reaching out to place or spaces to see if there's a different way of doing it where there's like a training calendar that automatically does it. But
sorry, Emma, I was able to do it for my calendar today. I had a new invitation. So
awesome.
Did you join, in a sense, whatever the word is, did you join or whatever the place space so it pushed through?
Yeah, last week when I couldn't get on, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. And so I went and I joined the place space. And then today I was like, okay, I got to remember to do it right. But then I saw I had a new link on my calendar. So hopefully everybody has that link.
No, that was awesome.
Yeah, I had a link on my calendar today too. That was
so if you join, and Brandon, you did the same thing. You joined the place space.
Yeah.
So if you join the place space, it pushes onto your calendar, and then Emma and I are trying to post it on the Facebook group. So obviously you could click from the Facebook group, but it'd be on your calendar automatically from the place space. I don't think it's a training event, so I don't think it's on the place training calendar per se.
Right. That makes me really happy. It did not do that for me. So there was some glitch with mine. So I'll double check on that, but I'm glad it's showing up on your Google calendars. All right. So we will move into today's topic, which we are on time, which I believe is the last one on the list for the 15-point plan. So perfect timing in December. And what I wanted to go over is I actually re-listened to the first podcast of time that is actually Ben Kenny speaking with Chad Himes and Bob Stewart about his 6 steps for his daily time. And I wanted to kind of go over that list and then see where you guys stand in what you do well, what you feel you could do better at, and then maybe even some suggestions where you feel like really help balance your time better throughout the days. So to start, I'm going to just list off the 6 that he mentions. It's not the exact wording because I got it from a podcast, but so number 1 was to visualize what you want to do for the next day and pick one thing that if you did it that day would be a win. So I know I do this with my team every week. We do it weekly and daily. We say our number 1 for the week on Mondays, and then we say our number 1 for each day, and we send it over to Olivia at the end of each day. So it's, hey, this is my number 1 tomorrow. If I can get this done, I feel like it's a win. So that's number 1 that he mentions. Next, he says, before the next day is pulling out your calendar and take items off the calendar that are not necessary. Because a lot of times you'll have reoccurring events, or maybe there's something on there that you feel like you can push, things like that. So just double checking your calendar for the next day. Is there something that I can move so that I can put my priorities in place. The next would be making your list of priorities and organizing them in the order of importance. So a lot of times people can just create, a list of 10 things, but they don't actually know what needs to get done first and what's a priority. Because sometimes if you just have your list, you're just going to do all the easy things first, but maybe that's not the priority for that day. So going over that list and making sure you have them listed out in importance for your day. And then this one I actually kind of like, and I try to do this pretty regularly, is plan daily rituals. So what he means by rituals is like hydration, exercise, almost like the 15-point plan, reading, eating, meditation, listening, doing things like that. And he recommends doing it every hour to every 2 hours so that you kind of make a gap and not overwhelm yourself with just work all day, or whatever your priorities are. It allows you to kind of take a little bit of a breath. But when you think about these rituals, you have to plan for them the night before. So let's say, eating, you want to eat healthy in your ritual or things like that. You got to plan for that. If you don't bring your lunch, or you don't plan where you're going to go eat and say, I know I can get a salad there or whatever, you might just eat the donuts that are in the office or something like that. So planning out your rituals, making sure that those intertwine with your daily priorities of getting those tasks done. And then the next one adds on to that is creating a time block for your priorities as well as your rituals. So figuring out what those priorities are and building out time blocks for that, between showings or meetings or phone calls or things like that, just making sure that you put time blocks for those priorities, but also time block for your lunches and your 10-minute breaks. And I love how Deanna is out walking right now. Making those are also priorities within your day. And then lastly is making a mental commitment before you start the day. That for me, it comes in my affirmations in the morning, like my journaling. I like to write it out multiple times. So it's almost like speaking it and writing it. But just making a commitment so that you can hold yourself accountable for that next day. So those were the 6 that he kind of goes over in that call, and I'll send out that podcast, or I'll add it to the link here or the chat. But who feels that they are doing a really great job at these things, or maybe feel they're lacking in some things and could use some advice moving forward?
I found that time blocking, especially in an admin role, it was more helpful to my personal life actually than even my work life, although it was great for work. But like my team actually, they know that like from 4 to 5, I'm on the Peloton, I'm unavailable, and it's never been an issue. But once we had a conversation about it, and they were the ones that told me, they were like, oh no, yeah, we know that's what you're doing there. It's actually on my calendar. And it allowed me to take this and go set it aside, and I didn't have to worry about it, and I didn't have to worry like, oh, I hope I don't miss something. I hope, maybe they needed the amendment signed or whatever. And it just freed up so much mental space to go, I don't have to worry.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Sometimes I have to hide my phone on me. I'll literally even just put it behind my screen so I don't see it when I'm doing those time blocks. Anybody else?
I would say kind of on the same. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Deanna, you'll go first.
Okay, cool. So I was thinking to myself, like, one of the things I've gotten pretty good at is getting the most important things done first. And my driver for that was honestly that I have teenagers and they have emergencies like all the freaking time. And I don't have time for their emergencies, or I didn't used to. But now that I really focus on getting my priorities done early in the day, if something then does come up, then it's not as stressful trying to figure out how I'm going to get it all done.
Yeah, I love that. And I also feel like, I mean, I don't have teenagers, but I'm assuming they're either in school or sleeping, so the problems don't happen until the afternoon. So I think that's a great idea, Deanna. Banning.
I see a couple opportunities in there. I'm so good at time blocking on my calendar, and then like I actually have to do what's on my calendar. So that's a whole other thing.
Yes.
Because I'm really good at, especially the important ones. Like all of a sudden, I'm enthralled with what's happening in the training room in my office when I have to lead gen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I gotta help do this class or do this other thing that's so important all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with like picking the one thing for the day. I've been working really hard to do that because it's so important, because having like crazy ADHD like I do and not being medicated by choice, I have a real issue with task switching. So like we've now changed my calendar to time block all of my lead gen, like all my new calls happen on Monday. So that's my thing. And like each day is going to have a focus. And that has so far like been massively helpful.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. And I feel like for me, when I was at that point with it's the time switching, like switching from one task to the next, doing the 15-minute tracker for 2 weeks always really helps me figure out like, why does it take me 20 minutes to transition here? Or maybe that's the perfect opportunity for those, rituals of taking a walk around the office, or, going to grab some water or something like that. Yeah. What do we got, Andrew?
So what I was going to say is mine is basically kind of starting at the end of the list. Number 6, make a mental commitment for what's happening. You know, Deanna has teenagers. I have a herd of dogs, and I'm fostering a adorable chocolate lab, 5-month-old chocolate lab puppy for my daughter Lexi. But she's right here underneath my feet. But I'm never going to give her back, so I have a puppy. So just like when you guys have a vacation and you work your ass off to go take that vacation tomorrow, like I have to work my ass off because like I leave, I just had a showing, but now I'm at home because I had to let the dog out and give the dog lunch. If I can't get my act together, then I come home and I got to clean up a big giant mess. So that helps me get on schedule. And I'm silly. I walk out of here. I'm like, bye guys, be good. Like I got to make his dog bone money, like something ridiculous. And then I got a buddy in my office who he's not part of Place, but he's building a team. I've got him on Brivity. He bought Brivity. And like we talk every day. I'm like, dude, did you make any calls? Do you have an appointment? Did you make any money? As opposed to just me taking a lap, taking me a lap around the office, and everyone wants to touch me and go, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Which is a massive waste of time. So that's how I'm trying to budget time. I know I have to take care of Kimber the puppy. So that forces me to be a little more productive. And instead of sitting around till 5 o'clock and go, okay, it's 5 o'clock, everybody's left, all the 80% is done, now I should work. I get in there, and last thing I'll say is, and I can only focus on like banning, although I do take the occasional tab of help. I can't focus on everything. My database is over 30,000 somethings, and it's out of control if I try to fix the whole database. So my one focus is get in there and clear the Brivity bell. That gives me like a whole day of work just dealing with those leads, and I'm actually talking to people and doing things. So if I focus there, then I go to the next thing in Brivity and the next thing. Otherwise, if it just do your job in Brivity, come to work, Andrew, and do your job, do the top 10 Brivity, do a day in the life of Brivity. Like that's clear all your messages. Like it's 4,800 messages. I can't physically do that. So it's take a bite of the elephant, one bite at a time. That's how I focus so I don't get overwhelmed.
I like that. And another way I think is really helpful with the time blocking banding, because I love time blocking, is I have an impact hour, and then sometimes I actually time block for specific things, or literally just fires. That way, like you said, something was happening and it just felt like it was more needed for you to be at the training or whatever it was. So you went there and you just trade it for something else. Like, okay, I had this hour for impact, and I'm going to just put that hour of lead gen there. I mean, I've moved my calendar a lot around the day, but my main goal is not moving it off the day, trying to keep it on the day, but just shifting it maybe.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
The one I think I struggle with the most is like planning ahead, like the food thing. Like you would think it was a surprise to me every morning that I have to eat that day. And so my husband and I have been working on meal planning for dinner because I was sick of going to the grocery store like 3 or 4 times a week for random things that we needed to make dinner, which has helped because then oftentimes I have leftovers available for lunch, but I still find that I'm not planning for that super well. So that's one I definitely need to work on.
I have a suggestion for you, Deanna. I do this for myself. I actually like just throw 2 different types of protein in a crock pot Sunday night, and I season it throughout the week however I want it, but it lasts me all week, and that's been the easiest way for me to do it.
Yeah. I'm similar in that way. My husband and I do meal prep. So I will say it's been about 1.5 years of the same meal prep. I am ready to switch it up. He's totally fine with keeping it the same. It's just chicken, beans, and rice, and I add broccoli. But we do that on Sunday as a bulk, and that's our lunches. And then for dinners, I always like to do a grocery shop where it's like I pick the meats. Usually is first. If you're a vegetarian, obviously it'd be different, but I'll be like, okay, that week, babe, this is what we got. We could do like spaghetti and red sauce. We could do kibasi with broccoli. Like I have the meats and I'll say, choose out of these 5 things. Those are our dishes for this week. It doesn't always work. Sometimes we end up going out to eat, but I try my best, and it doesn't hurt that I live 30 minutes from a grocery store. So we really do have to be a little bit more prepared.
So with meals, I found this app that I absolutely love because it gives me recipe ideas. And then from there, it creates my shopping list and it will send it to the grocery store for me. So it's called E-Meals. And just this weekend, my son was like, you haven't been grocery shopping in forever. And I was like, you're right. And so I literally laid in bed at like 11 o'clock, picked out my 4 meals and did my grocery shopping. And then I had Walmart deliver them the next day. So by 10 a.m., I had ingredients for 4 meals. We've made 2 of them, and a child is going to make 1 tonight. So it's called E-Meals. And you pay, it's a subscription that you pay for. And so I do the healthy meal plan, and I get 2 weeks worth of meal ideas. And if anybody does want to go down that path, my suggestion is to save any meal plan that any recipe that you might someday want to make, because after those 2 weeks, they're gone. But if you save them, you have them. So now I have like 400 meal options that I can go through and be like, oh, that one was good. That one was good. And literally do my grocery shopping in like 15 minutes.
Oh, that's so interesting. How much is the subscription? Because you hear all of the ones where they send you the meals to cook. I love this more where it's like, I'm still going to do my own grocery shopping, but you're telling me what to get.
Yes. So I want to say it was like $60 some for the year.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then you that's per meal plan that you want. Because when I first signed up, I was like, ooh, that looks good. That looks good. And I got charged a whole bunch. So I emailed them and was like, I don't really want all of these if it's going to cost me that much. So I want to say for the one plan, it's like $69. But then you also see a list of all the top trending recipes. So you get to see other recipes that maybe are not in your meal plan.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So the old, I did a thing last night. So it's me and the dogs here at the house, and then Lexi's up at A&M. So she's only 1.5 hours away. So I go there a bunch, or she comes here a bunch. I told her for Christmas, I bought a Costco membership. And years ago, when I had the 2 kids here with me, we had Costco. We used it. They've been gone for a couple of years. I just bought it. So I went through Costco last night. Anyone got any Costco tips for a guy with 3 dogs? Like, I'm overwhelmed. And I called Lexi at like 10 o'clock. I'm like, honey, like if I bought a box of cereal, I could feed an army, or like chicken breasts. I don't even think I can fit that package in my freezer. How do you use Costco without going broke and or wasting tons of food? I'm not buying like a gallon of spaghetti sauce or a gallon of ketchup. Like, it's me. Any helpful hints?
That was literally what I was gonna say before you said something. What I was doing when I was eating every day, I would go to Costco, you get the bulk, you get the packer cuts of meat. So you get like a whole New York strip loin or a whole rib loin. You cut it up into steaks, or you can get like 700 pounds of chicken or whatever. And the best thing in the world for me, being when I was a single guy cooking for myself with a full-time job, was sous vide. I would throw a piece of protein, a pat of butter, some herbs in a vacuum bag, seal it, and do that 20 or 50 times and throw it in a freezer. And in the morning, I would take one out of the freezer, I would toss it in a bucket of water I had sitting next to my sink with a sous vide stick in it. And
wait, what's that word? What's the word you just said?
Sous vide, it's a heated water circulator.
Okay.
So you throw it in the bucket and it all works through an app. So like when I was headed home, I would turn it on and it would be done in like an hour. So I'd get home from the gym, shower, get out, and I would, throw potatoes in the oven for 20 minutes and my dinner was done. So I didn't have to think about it. I thought about it once a month or like every 1 or 2 months because I had a big freezer in my garage, and
that's what Michael or someone just said. I need a bigger freezer, because you're right, Banning. Like last night, I just walked around. I was a little overwhelmed, and it was 8 o'clock. And then I looked, like I said, well, I want to see what the meat. So I looked in the freezer that had the cooler that had the chicken breast, and I'm like, oh wow, there's like 4 or 5 giant chicken breasts, and I picked it up. There were 10 giant chicken breasts because they were shrink wrapped and it turned underneath. It's like, oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, I would do it maybe once a month, probably less than that. And I would pull the vacuum sealer out, cut all the bags. It would take probably half an hour, 45 minutes. And I would have my proteins done for literally a month. And I wouldn't have to think about any of that.
That's awesome.
It was the easiest thing in the world.
And what's the vacuum?
And you can season them all different. And so I avoided because I can't do the like same meal for everything.
What's that vacuum sealer? It's like you see it on TV. It just like
one of
sucks
those
the air
food
out, or it
saver
just
things.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can buy one at Costco.
Yeah, they have them at Costco.
You can buy it at Costco. Mm-hmm.
Right. I'll buy the 22 pack of chicken breast and the gallon of ketchup, and then the freezer bag thing maker. Okay.
And the sous vide. Yep.
And the quart of Tony Chachere's and
the no, I figured, like, again, I don't have to spend all this money to buy whatever it is, Quaker Oats, 8 packs of oatmeal that are super expensive. I eat oatmeal all the time. I can buy Kirkland pack of 20 and I'll eat them. They're not going to go bad, but I'm not going to buy like a gallon of things that I'll never eat or use.
I feel like Costco is really good for just like and maybe this is more of a girl thing, but girls buy basics for clothing, right? And then you can just mix and match and do what you want. That's what Costco, I think, is used for. We get all the basics, the meats that we use the freezer, canned beans, you can stock those for months, so that's where the bulk comes in, as long as you have the storage to keep it. I think it's super helpful.
And that's what Lexi said. You still go to the grocery store for like normal 1 guy, 2 guy, 3, 1 guy, 3 meal things. But, the bulk, like Lexi's like, I'm not buying 5 gallons of shampoo. Like, that's crazy. But there are certain things you can bulk up on.
Yep, exactly. All right. Anything else? We're at 12:26. So we do want to fit in the 3-minute meditation before we jump in.
Hey, do you want to give a quick preview of coming attractions, how we're going to finish out the month, and then kind of what 2024 will be, just to put you on the spot?
Yes. Well, so I guess what I can say a little bit about is that we are doing a wellness call on, let's see, Tuesday of next week. It's for the operators. So if you're an operations team, you will be on it. If not, you can always watch the recording later, but it will be me and Ryan. And we're going to kind of go over the 15-point plan in general, because, as much as we know about it, a lot of teams don't dive in right away. So they're going to kind of get an outline of the 15-point plan. And we're going to announce, Ryan and Jacqueline will be taking over the 15-point plan podcast coming up, which he mentioned last week. So he's really excited about that. I don't know when that officially drops. Hopefully he'll know more by then. And I think we're going to finish out with kind of the best of 2023, and then what our plans are for the next year, which, to be honest, I do not know the exact plans. Ryan knows a little bit more, but that's kind of what these next couple of weeks are going to be for. All right.
And just keep inviting more people. This is cool the way the numbers keep, consistently growing and growing. The
Yeah.
Facebook group, I think, is 600 or 700 people. So the more we post in there, now it's a place space. So you can tell people about it. You can post on your own page, hey, did the place wellness call, check out the place space if you want. And then we'll keep growing and growing, because obviously the more people, the more value that's added. I always take away a little bit of something from everybody. So thank you.
Yeah. And you can also post on both places, Facebook and places. Oh my God, I hate it. Space for Wellness. You can also post on the activity stream. You won't have all the powers that Ryan and Andrew and I have, but if you want to share something, we'd love to see it, and it will notify the team that is all on there. So it'll be great. Okay, so we have a couple minutes. So if you don't jump back on, that's totally fine. I'm going to put my screen dark and 2 to 3 minutes. And if you're here when I come back, awesome. If not, enjoy your day. All right. Well, thank you all for being here and letting me run this call this week. I believe Ryan will be back next week. And I'm excited as we continue to move forward with growing this and having both Facebook and Place Space and everything like that. So I hope you guys all have a great week.
Yes, thank you, Emma.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
job.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good job.